So one of my Patreon supporters asked me, why is it that my ex doesn't notice me when I go no contact? All right. And this is something that a lot of people use no contact simply because they feel desperate, they feel needy and creepy, and they want their exes back. Okay. A lot of the times we don't get that. And you see it working for other people, but in your situation, it doesn't work. And why is that? Well, I discovered that there are four reasons why that is. And it makes a lot of sense. And I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna give you guys the first one right now. But before we begin, if you guys want to work with me one on one, go to mindfulattraction.org and then you'll be able to book a one on one phone call with me today. And if you guys want to check out premium content, exclusive content, you guys can either become members on YouTube for this channel or become Patreon supporters. As you guys know, we started a podcast and we're going to be uploading clips of the podcast through the membership sites here or Patreon, whichever one you want, to be honest with you. The one that will give you more access and more exclusive videos is the one through Patreon. But if you guys want to make it easier, just join for $5 here in the description down below, and then you'll be able to watch those podcasts. They're long form podcasts. Okay, so the first one is that they didn't like you back. You gotta understand, right? And this is actually very true. When you could kind of sense when somebody doesn't like you back, and you don't sense it through a logical understanding, you sense it through the opposites, meaning that you literally just become attracted to them. You may not notice it consciously that they don't like you back, but you notice a deep desire to get their validation. And a lot of times that's your unconscious response to coldness, right? Like a lot of people, for example, like let me give you an example of self-deception, right? A lot of people think that they don't lie to themselves, right? But let's just say you're trying to stop smoking crack, right? And you'll say, I'm gonna stop smoking tomorrow. But you don't delete your dealer's number, right? And a part of you will believe you'll stop, but a part of you doesn't want to delete that number, right? That hesitation to delete that number is really your unconscious deception coming up in indirect ways, right? And that's kind of like the same. You unconsciously perceive the person, like you unconsciously know that they don't like you back, but your ego doesn't let you come to that conclusion. So because of that, what your ego will do is that it'll make you attracted to them. Right. It's weird, but if you actually notice it, it's actually kind of true, right? You kind of sense that why when people don't like you, you end up liking them, but when they like you end up not liking them. A lot of the times, you not being attracted to those who like you back is really low self esteem masquerading as having high standards. Your ego is really really good at that. Like honestly, ask a crackhead if they're a crackhead. A lot of them will say no. A lot of them will say they'll stop tomorrow, right? That's self deception. That's one thing, right? That they don't like you back. And when that's the case, listen to me, man. You can't force it. You know, like we're not in the Bronx. You can't force someone to like you. If they don't like you back, your next step is to face reality and move the fuck on. Not ask why. Not say maybe they're narcissists, maybe they're assholes. No, they just don't like you back, and you just can't accept it. No contact is not about getting results to get the results that you want. It's really about getting closer to reality. And when you're closer to reality, the strategies you use will work better. That's just the case. Next one is that they're just selfish. They may like you, but because they're in a self-destructive state of mind or they self-sabotage, they may have addictions. They might be too ambitious to the point that they neglect their families and friends, right? A lot of the times when we struggle making intimate relationships, we sort of then want to connect with inanimate things, success, money, objects. Even inanimate thing can be prostitutes where you don't even connect with them. So you just deal with them because you don't have to connect. And sometimes inanimate things may not necessarily be inanimate. It could be anything that you could connect, that you could interact with without receiving feedback. Prostitutes, right? Fake friends, right? Where you rather be surrounded by people than connected with people, right? And so that's where you have that, like for example, a successful business guy to women, he comes across as mysterious, but what it really is just the fact that he can't connect. And so that woman misinterprets the fact that he can't connect because of low self-esteem. You misinterpret that, and you say, "Oh, they're just sensitive." They're mysterious. When in reality, they have no capacity to connect. In that case, when you're in that type of situation, you have to be aware of what's going on, that this person just cannot change. And there's nothing that you could do about it. There's no strategy to bring them out. Not even going to therapy, those people could change. It takes a tremendous amount of effort, not even effort. It takes getting to a point of rock bottom, of you fucking up. And if you, rather than pull away and say you're not a person you want to be in a relationship with, but rather you reward that behavior, they're never really going to reach rock bottom, and they're never really going to change, right? The only thing that's going to block you from understanding this is your ego. Because, for example, like if you're a crackhead, I always talk about crack, but that's because I worked in drug addictions before. But if you're a crackhead, you think you're going to stop tomorrow, right? And the reason why is because especially you'll notice a lot of you know what? Let's go to a quick commercial break and continue with this, okay? Do you give off Terminator vibes because you're so masculine? Or do you give off nice girl, creepy, and needy vibes because you're just too feminine? The problem is that both sides suffer greatly in their business life, relationships life, and friendships with family and friends. And if you don't know how to fix that, you will repeat the same pattern your whole life and never escape. Well, guess what? I have a course for you, and it's called The Feminine Woman. It's pretty much a course on how to increase your self-esteem through practical means, not through giving you guys affirmation and wishing that you stop being terminators or you stop being needy and creepy goldfish. No, I'll give you practical things that by you doing this, if you're too masculine, I swear people will say there's something in you. You look more relaxed. You're just more comforting. You become more emotionally open because I teach you guys those strategies. It's a 5-week course. If you're too masculine, you are successful in life, you are successful in business, but you struggle with connecting. And so that course will give you practical things that if you're a Terminator, you'll come out human, people. Like you'll just give off a more relaxed vibe. It's what I did in my life to heal me from my toxic masculinity. It's a 5-week course. And in that, I teach you guys how to let go of the past. I teach you guys how to use your feminine energy to influence without being too sexual, which might sabotage you. I'll teach you guys how to use the masculine to be assertive without scaring people off because sometimes it could be too much. It's a course that balances those things out. Okay, so if you go Bronx mode, if you're too Beverly Hills mode, I'll teach you guys how to go Bronx mode, or better yet, South Side of Chicago type of shit. Well, now you're just a serial killer right there, right? And with this course has a 30-day money back guarantee, and if you purchase it, you guys also get access to to the Zoom meditation group where we both meditate, or we all meditate on a weekly basis, and you guys get access to the WhatsApp group. And it's really a good course. If you guys don't like it, just ask for your money back. I mean, you guys can see the reviews right here. A lot of people like those reviews, and you'll see the results. And if you don't see the results, then I'll just give you your money back. I'm not gonna scam you guys if it doesn't work, but I know it's gonna work. So you do that now. Don't end up like Frida Kahlo. All right? Don't do that shit. Y'all just think you guys can break my rules and tell people you watch my channel. You can't do that, okay? So purchase that right now. It's a lifetime. You get lifetime access to that course, and I'll see you guys inside. Take care. Let's continue with the video. Reliant people, they have a strong ego, which allows them to believe in themselves. But that ego backfires when you're in the grips of addiction. You have no power over that. So because of that, rather than accept the fact that you have no power, that goes against your nature. You believe you have power. You have an ego. You've succeeded. So I could beat this thing. So your ego will make you think tomorrow I'll stop. I'll stop tomorrow. I'll stop tomorrow. I'll stop tomorrow. I'll stop tomorrow. And it'll blind you from your patterns of self-destruction. Right? And so that's the same thing with these people, is that their ego blocks them from connecting with people, especially really attractive, successful people. Blocks them, right? And they keep people at a distance, and it's not personal. And because it's not personal, you cannot do nothing about it, right? So even if you go no contact, you stop talking to them, and they're actually in love with you, their ego will have them will tell them not to go back. Their ego will make them keep going and find somebody else, or better yet, There's so much, sometimes they're so ambitious and they're so consumed with money that they'll literally, or addictions, that they'll put you in the back burner. They have enough distractions with their ambitions, with their addictions and distractions, that they don't need to think of you. It doesn't mean that they don't feel, but they just grew accustomed to ignore their feelings because maybe they don't want to get rejected, or because maybe you don't give them that sense of control that they usually have in their lives, in their business, successful lives, right? Really powerful people control people really well because others people want something from them. If you don't react in a way that validates me, if you're not the one that's making the contact first, if you're not the one that's being needy, their ego will have them say no to you. Sometimes they just become addicted to the power that they have over you. Honestly, that's why I tell you guys. I was talking to a client about this yesterday, right? You can't feel offended when someone who is emotionally distant doesn't want you. Because what you really understand is that they're afflicted. They're stuck in a pattern that they'll never be able to break. A lot of the times, they're incapable of connecting with people. And even if they want to go back, their ego is such that they always want to win, and they'll rather suffer the pain of losing you than the pain of humbling themselves and going back to you. That's just the truth. That's why if a woman does this to me, I'm not gonna get offended. I'm not gonna assume she's broken, but I'm just gonna assume everything is possible. It may not be. I may not be the reason why she's acting that way. Next thing is that they're not over their exes. And you see this a lot with people who you meet online, with people who have Tinder. Those types of people, a lot of the times, they're not over their exes. And the reason why you know this is because they come hard. They have high intention. They want to meet, but then all of a sudden they disappear. But if you met them online, there's a high likelihood they went back to their ex. You just don't have enough context. You just don't have enough context to understand that. But I've talked to people literally because I coach them. They tell me this happens a lot, or where they're the ones that left because they had an ex. This honestly happens more often than we imagine. Oh my God, Father Alex picked these burgers. Fuck some stick. Shut this up. Goddamn. Anyways, the next one and last one is that they're avoidant. Look, and if that's the case, like this is honestly another one. It goes with the number two, but the selfish one is different, right? So avoidance, they can't help themselves, right? Avoidant, for example, the love language is given, right? Selfish people, they don't give a fuck about their love language. Their love language is me. Avoidant, you can't. If they're an avoidant, I'm sorry. Like I prefer for you not to deal with it, and that's coming from an avoidant. It's just too much. Find someone who's not an avoidant. People, y'all legit love projects. Like with women, I've had women who told me this happens a lot in New York City, where you have a woman who moves from city to city every few years, doesn't have a lot of friends, doesn't have a good connection with their family. Like when you see that, you can almost guarantee they're avoidant, man. I don't, because again, I'm talking from my perspective. I have a connection with my friends, but you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes they have friends, but generally speaking, like if somebody gives you a avoidance sign, don't think you have that magical poom poom to fix it. Just moonwalk your ass back. It's not gonna work out. If you think it's gonna work, that's just your ego. We're back to the selfish person, right? That's just your ego is divorcing you from reality, and that's how you get played, man. Um, and with these situations, like what I'm trying to tell you is that you have no control over this. You have no power over this. It's very important to understand when you can fix something and when you can't. Right? No context reveals. It doesn't change people. All right. Anyways, man, let me know what you guys think. Um, we're starting meditations tomorrow. Finding the people again. I'm very honest with you guys. When I go to meditation retreats, I take a break from meditations, and it takes me a while to go back because I don't like meditating in that deep meditative state in normal world. It's just too deep, too profound. And I like to go back to a certain level of degeneracy and normalcy, right? So we're hoping to be back by tomorrow. I think we will. I already have my routine of waking up by 5, so by 5:30, I should make an announcement by today. And we're uploading a bunch of videos on Patreon and on the membership, man. Y'all, we're uploading videos, man. We're in the crack era of mindful attraction. All right. Anyways, take care. Bye bye.